My name's Liam Carter, 25 years old, and I was desperate for a job after months of unemployment. I'd been scraping by, searching for something better than my last gig, when I landed a service desk role at a camera security company in Bristol, England. It was a lifeline, decent pay, technical work, a chance to rebuild. My new manager, Mark, was an ex-army guy, all discipline and authority, but he seemed fair at first. I had no idea he'd turn into a monster who'd bully me for daring to grieve my grandfather's death. For months, he made my life hell, thinking he could break me. But I didn't just walk away. I gathered evidence, exposed him, and got him fired, tanking his career. This is how I turned his own arrogance against him. It all started in early 2016. I aced the interview and got a call that same day. The job was mine. The office was modern, all glass and tech, with a team of about 20 handling customer support for security systems. My role was to troubleshoot software issues, answer client calls, and log tickets. The software was new to me, so I threw myself into it, studying manuals after hours, asking questions, even traveling to Germany for a training course. I passed the exams with flying colors, earning a nod from Mark. "Good work, Liam," he'd say, clapping my shoulder. He was stern, but seemed to respect hard work. I thought I'd found my place. For 2 months, everything was smooth. I worked long hours, often staying late to master the system. My colleagues were friendly, and the clients appreciated my quick fixes. Mark was professional, if a bit intense, with his military precision and clipped orders. I didn't mind. Structure suited me. But then, in late spring, everything changed. My grandfather, who'd raised me like a second father, collapsed in his assisted living flat. He'd had a brain aneurysm. Found unconscious in the shower after hitting his panic button. It was a Wednesday, and my family rallied at the hospital, holding vigil as doctors fought to save him. I went to work each day, but visited him every evening, my heart heavy. That Friday afternoon, at 3 p.m., I was at my desk when my dad called. His voice broke as he told me Grandpa had passed. I sat frozen, tears streaming down my face, barely hearing the office hum around me. It took 20 minutes to pull myself together. I walked to Mark's office, still shaken, and explained what happened. "I need to go home to be with my family," I said, expecting compassion. Instead, Mark's face hardened. "You can't leave. We've got the charity event tonight." The company was hosting a high-profile fundraiser, all for PR, and they'd publicized the number of staff attending. "One person missing looks bad," he said. I stared, stunned. "My contract says I get a day for a family death. I'm leaving." His eyes narrowed, but I grabbed my bag and walked out, ignoring his protests. That was the turning point. When I returned after the funeral, Mark was a different man. Gone was the cordial boss. In his place was a tyrant who seemed hell-bent on destroying me. Suddenly, everything I did was wrong. 6 years in tech and you're this useless? He'd sneer during team meetings, loud enough for everyone to hear. He'd cuss me out over minor errors, a typo in a ticket, a call that ran long, calling me incompetent in front of colleagues and even clients. Once, on a client call, he barged in, yelling, "Liam's screwing this up again," while the client listened, mortified. My colleagues tried to cheer me up, whispering, "You're doing fine, mate. He's just a prick." But the constant attacks wore me down. I started dreading work, my confidence crumbling, my sleep plagued by anxiety. This went on for months. My mental health tanked, headaches, panic attacks, a knot in my stomach every morning. By September, I was a shadow of myself. I confided in my parents and my girlfriend, Emma, who I'd proposed to that December. They were furious. "Liam, this isn't right," Emma said, holding my hand. "You don't have to take this. Quit." My dad agreed. No job is worth your health. They were right. I'd been clinging to the paycheck, but I couldn't survive another month under Mark. The next morning, I marched to HR and laid it all out. The bullying, the insults, how Mark's behavior started after I took leave for my grandfather's death. I told them I was giving my 2 weeks' notice. I can't work another day with that man, I said. The HR rep, Claire, leaned forward, her expression serious. Liam, you're not the first to complain about Mark. But we need evidence. Do you have any? I paused, my mind racing. Evidence? I hadn't thought that far, but I knew I'd seen things. Emails, memos, maybe more. I'll find it, I said. I'm job hunting, but I'll make time to get you everything. Claire nodded. Do that, and we'll take it seriously. I left her office with a new mission. Mark thought he'd won by driving me out. But I was about to turn the tables. Over the next 2 weeks, I became a detective. I scoured my inbox for every nasty email Mark had sent. Snide remarks like, maybe you're not cut out for this, or stop wasting my time with your mistakes. I dug up memos where he'd criticized my work unfairly, often contradicting his own instructions. The real goldmine was the call recordings. Our phone system auto-recorded client calls, and Mark, in his arrogance, had cussed me out during several. You're a bloody idiot, Liam. He'd said on one, loud and clear. I downloaded 3 recordings, each a damning snapshot of his abuse. I also found security footage from the open plan office, where cameras caught him yelling at me, his face red, pointing aggressively. My colleagues were my secret weapon. They'd seen Mark's tirades and hated his guts. When I asked if they'd sign a statement confirming my claims, they didn't hesitate. About time someone took him down, one said, penning their name. My last day was a showdown. HR scheduled a meeting with me, Mark, and Claire as mediator. Before Mark arrived, I told Claire he'll walk in, spew his side, and let me talk. When I start, he'll interrupt, call me a liar, and derail the conversation. She raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. Mark strode in, all swagger, and launched into a rant. Liam's been a disaster, lazy, incompetent, a liability. I sat quietly, letting him dig his hole. When it was my turn, I started calmly, outlining his bullying and how it began after my grandfather's death. Predictably, he cut me off. That's a lie. He's making this up to save face. He pivoted to unrelated complaints. My attitude, my sloppy work. I caught Claire's eye, suppressing a smile. I stood, cutting through his noise. I told you he'd do this, Claire. Here's the proof you asked for. I slid a thick folder across the table. Dozens of emails, memos, a USB with call recordings and video footage. It's all here. Mark's insults, his abuse, his unprofessionalism. I turned to Mark, whose smirk faltered. I don't think you'll be smirking for long. Enjoy your little victory. Before he could respond, I walked out, slamming the door. The weight of months lifted off my shoulders. I felt alive again, like I'd reclaimed my dignity. ... Within a month, I was back to my old self, job hunting with renewed energy. 2 months later, I started a new role at a tech firm. Better pay, better vibe. Out of curiosity, I checked Mark's LinkedIn, unemployed. I called a former colleague, Sarah, for the scoop. Mate, your evidence opened Pandora's box, she said. The folder I'd given HR triggered a flood of complaints. Mark had insulted female staff, belittled older employees, and been rude to external contractors, without proof. Those claims had been ignored, his word against theirs. But my recordings, emails, and I won't lie, I felt a wicked satisfaction. Mark thought he could bully me into submission, punish me for grieving my grandfather. Instead, I exposed him, ended his career, and walked away stronger. Emma and I got engaged that December, and as I toasted to our future, I thought of Mark, stuck in his self-made ruin. Thanks for the lesson, mate. Never mess with a guy who knows how to hit record.